Wholesale to Million. What up? Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'm bringing you guys back with another subscriber first wholesale deal interview, and this one is gonna blow your mind away. His first wholesale deal, $65,545. Woo!
Yeah.
So you guys, I'm gonna bring our special guest to come on. He's gonna share with you guys obviously his stories, how he closed his first wholesale deal, so pretty much all the details about the deals. And I want him to also give you guys his little background, where he came from, because we all started from different walk of life. All right. And if you guys do like these kind of interview, the subscriber first wholesale deal interview, please let me know. Boom, by smashing the thumbs up. If you don't find any value throughout this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. I ain't care. All right. So let me know if you do enjoy this. And if you find value, don't be shy. Let me know by comment below, smash the thumbs up and let me know. And if you don't, go ahead and smash that thumbs down. But if you guys are new, if any one of you are new to the channel, this channel is all about wholesaling, where I share with you everything I've learned and everything that I will be learning to help you move in the right directions. And also to is bringing on guests like this, to let you know that this business is possible for anybody that's willing to put in the work, the W, the O, the R, the A, the K. Oh, I misspelled that. Oh, W-O-R-K. Anyways, you guys, put your thumb together. Help me bring on Alex from Maryland. What up, buddy?
What's going on, Khang? Happy Thursday. I just want to say it's a blessing, to be on here, not only to talk to you, but share my story, share my experience with your viewers, and hopefully I can provide some value today.
Absolutely, man. Hey, Alex, first of all, man, obviously I want to say big congrats. And also, too, I want to say thank you, bro. Thank you so much for taking your time to jump on to do this interview with me, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And before I let Alex go into share his stories, I want to let those of you who recently closed your first wholesale deal, email me at wholesale2millions@gmail.com. Show me the money, a picture of the check to verify, and then we'd love to get you onto the channel. Also, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, hit me up on IG. Go to Khang, Khang, dot, like a period, WTM. Alex, you ready to rock and roll, buddy?
Ready to do this.
I'm ready to listen, bro. So give us a little background, a little stories. Give me the dirt, a little background, and your story, bro, before you get into the wholesale deal.
Absolutely. My name's Alex, like Khang said. I was in the military 4 years, and I had, a good thing going. I actually got a lot of commendations, a lot of medals, just saying, I was doing pretty good at where I was at. I was doing that in a job that, I wasn't very passionate about. And so I figured if I could do that in a job I wasn't passionate about, I would do just fine on the outside. And I actually my wife and I had a beautiful baby girl at the same time. And so, deploying 6 to 12 months wasn't something I was looking forward to and missing out on that time. So we made a huge life decision, moved back to Maryland. I was in Oklahoma for 4 years. And my dad at the time owned his own hardwood flooring business, and he was doing like thousands of square feet by himself. This man was just like the definition of hard work. And so I figured if I could learn the trade from the master himself, then I could take over this business, because he wanted to get out of it, and got into that and found out working hard for money is not something I wanted to do for 20 years. And I said, there's got to be a better way. And so my brother and I actually got to talking, and he mentioned owning a quadplex and renting out the 3 units and having them pay for your rent, or pay for your mortgage rather. And it just clicked in my head. And so at that point I became obsessed. I quit my job, had no income coming in whatsoever, had a family to support. And I started networking, reading books, watching videos 8 hours a day, and just met some people through networking. And through that, they offered me an opportunity, and I took it and ran with it, as a acquisitions guy for them. And through them, I met a bigger fish, which is your and I's mentor, Mike to the fifth. So I want to give him a shout out. And started doing 5 to 10 deals a month. And so very quickly I had to learn how to move these properties. I never was really good at acquisitions, but dispositions I had some training, so that was good. And from there it's just the rest is history, man.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Yeah, man. I definitely do want to give my mentor a shout out. For those of you who haven't followed him, go hit him up on Instagram at Mike, M-I-K-E, the number 2, and then Fitz, right?
Yep.
FITZ, Mike to the
Yep.
Fitz. Go hit him up. He's a cool dude. So, Alex, man, a great story, bro. So now let's jump into your first wholesale deal. Kind of let us know where you got the deal, obviously, the whole thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually wasn't advertising at all. I just had my website. I guess that, my website and my social medias was my only advertising, but it was $50 a month. So, that $50 a month turned into 65K, that ROI right there. But he gave me a call off my website. He didn't even fill out the form. He just called my number and said, "Hey, I have a property you may be interested in." And immediately, I was driving at the time, and I got all the way back home, pulled in my driveway, didn't have any notepad or anything like that. And I called him right back and, went through the process. He said, "I don't have a script, but, I kind of keep it in my head. I try to memorize everything." And so I went through the process, hey, we're a wholesaler, we're investors, we buy houses. And immediately he told me he was an investor and knew what a wholesaler was. And so right then and there, I had to change up my whole tactic because, or I thought I did, but I called his bluff. And so, I went through the whole, kit and caboodle, basically told him what everybody else tells him. And come to find out, he really didn't know what a wholesaler was. I think he just YouTubed it or, Googled the term maybe. And I came to find out he actually bought this property from a wholesaler. So without giving myself away too much, I went through the whole process, got the details of the property, kind of found out what his pain points were. And he was tired of the city. He made a lot of repairs to the property. And I actually came to find out he maybe was not the best landlord. And that's why he was having troubles with the property. It was a huge value add opportunity. So that first phone call I got or made and got some basic information. And then once he gave me the address, what his rents were, I did some research and I come to find out, it's the 6 unit, 5 of the 6 units were rented way below market. I found that out by contacting all the experienced real estate investors around the town to figure out what they would rent a 1-bedroom for and what they would rent a commercial unit for, because I would spend hours just trying to figure that out. So I leveraged their knowledge to figure out that information. Once I had a good valuation of what the property could bring in and how many repairs it actually needed, it only needed about 25,000 repairs in that one vacant unit. And all the other units, even though it's a 100-year-old building, was immaculate. So right away, I knew this was a deal because it was a huge value add play. And so I called him back and I asked him, 3-4 times, what number would work for you? And he wouldn't tell me. And so I had to, I kept asking him. He just wouldn't tell me. He said, if you're in the ballpark, I'll let you know. And he told me that he purchased the property for $150. And I was kind of excited he told me that because I was going to offer lower. So I offered him $125. And he was like, I'll tell you what, you're in the ballpark. But let me wait a week just to see what I get, because today's the first day I called people, because he just called every wholesaler on the website, and he just went down the list, and I was the first one to call him back. And so he said, let me wait till next Monday, and I'll give you a call back. And I was super excited because I was in the ballpark. I said, all right. And as soon as I hung up the phone, I slapped myself in the head, and I was like, you idiot. You should have just asked him what will get the deal done today, like I learned from Khang, because then I would have got it done. So at that point, I tried not to get too excited, and I was going to call him back 24 hours later, so I didn't seem desperate. I took that risk. I don't recommend doing that. That was a mistake. But I called him back, and sure enough, he had already had 5 to 6 offers, anywhere from 115 to 135. And I calculated this property to be worth over 300,000 with proper management and 25K rehab. So this was huge. And I said right then and there, I learned from Khang, ask him what will get the deal done today. And sure enough, he told me 140 closed in 30 days with $1,000 deposit. And I negotiated every aspect of that. We went back and forth, and I got 40 days out of it and $500 deposit at 140K. So that's the seller portion. Yeah. So I guess you want me to go into the buyer portion now too?
No, I'm gonna break it down, Alex. I have some question for you, dude.
Sure.
So I just want to make sure that the audience is clear. So on the first call that he calls you, he left a voicemail, correct?
Correct.
So what did the voicemail say, roughly?
He said, I have a property you may be interested in. It's at this address. Please give me a call if you would like to talk further. And that was it. I knew right away he was going to be a direct guy.
Gotcha. Okay. So gotcha. Okay. So now my next question, when you call back, when you call him back, you mentioned that did you say you were a wholesaler?
No, no. So what I did is I
Okay.
said, this is Alex with Property Solutions, and I told you, or I got your message, and I hear you have property you're interested in selling. He didn't say he was interested, but I said that, and he said, yes, I do. And so I pre-eliminated or predetermined he was motivated based off what you told me to ask.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically, Alex, so because earlier you mentioned the word wholesale, but you did not brought it up, right? Just like a normal.
No, he actually brought that up to me and told me he knew what it was, and he called all the wholesalers in the area. And so that kind of
Oh.
threw me off for a second.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's where you call bluff and you continue to do what you normally would do is say, hey, we're buyer, right?
Yep. I said, I didn't want to tell the guy he was wrong, but I wanted to say, hey, you're absolutely right. That is a strategy we have. We do offload it to other investors because we have a huge network, but primarily we're interested in buying this ourselves,
I
my
like that.
partner and
Okay.
I.
Gotcha. I like that. So you talked to the seller a couple of times and you were not, so at this time, have you seen the property or all you have done was research on the property?
I have not seen the property. I just went off Zillow. He only owned the property for three years, and I had Zillow pictures of one unit, and it was immaculate. And so he told me he actually hadn't stepped foot in the property for 3 years, and he wouldn't show the property unless we were under contract. And he even told me he wouldn't show the property more than once after we had the contract signed. So this guy, I knew he was just going to be difficult, but I went with it anyways, and yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So initially when he gave you the address and then obviously you start talking back and forth, he wouldn't give you the number. You gave him a ballpark of roughly you were going to offer him 125. Now, when you made that offer, Alex, I know that this is a multifamily, it's a 6 unit. Were you already in the were you planning that whoever's going to buy this, is it going to flip it or going to be a landlord already, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you figure whoever buy this was what? Like your
He's
end
going to be
buyer.
a landlord.
Gotcha. Okay, so it'll be a landlord. Okay, gotcha. And then so you lock it up under contract for 140,
Correct.
145,
140.
140. Okay, gotcha. So you lock it up for 140. You negotiate the earnest money to be 500. Good job on negotiating, bro. And the thing is, you guys. So the thing is, Alex. I mean, who brought up the earnest money? I figure it's the seller because he's kind of an investor himself, right?
Yeah, he was pretty savvy, so that's the first thing he said.
Gotcha. Okay. And for those of you who said, "Hey, Khang, what if I deal with a savvy investor?" I mean, situation is situation, right? Doesn't matter if they're an agent. Don't assume that because we have done deal with investor as well. They run across where they buy, they flip it, and all of a sudden they just come in a tight situation. And could you remind me what's the situation on this again, Alex?
So basically, it's downtown, so he had to deal with the city. Anytime he had to pull permits or anything, it was difficult. And actually, the building is right in front of the city building, so they drive through there all the time. And so he's just tired of it. He's paid a lot in repairs. He got a brand new roof, new mechanicals. I mean, it was the best deal you could ever have. You know what I mean? So he had all this work into it, and he still wasn't getting the rents he wanted because he hasn't raised the rents. And the whole time he was there, and there's tenants there for over 10 years.
Oh wow! So he's in the same area, or is he in an outstate?
He's in the same area.
Okay. Wow, man. So ARV, you figure is 365, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then the rehab left that needed to be done was about 25K, you said?
He told me 10K. So I said, I drive by this place every day to go to the gym. And so I looked at it and I said, all right, it's going to be 25K. And all my buyers eventually, they agreed with me. So I knew.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And then, so let me see. So what was the total rent?
Total rent was bringing in 2516, and I had projected that the market demands at least 4,500.
Oh, dang. Oh,
Yeah.
dang. Okay. Oh, dang. Dude,
Yes.
this is like a freaking like a home run, bro.
I'm
Wow.
yeah.
Dang, for one something. So okay. So basically, Alex is probably so you're pretty familiar with the area. Right when he gave you the rent amount, he gave you the address, you figure that, man, this is a good deal.
Yeah, I did. I didn't know the rents off the top of my head because I don't own anything right now myself, but that's in the plans. But I did contact people who own multiple units, and they all gave me a number, and I averaged that out.
I see. Gotcha. Okay. So as at the time he was currently renting for the total rent would $2,516, right?
Correct.
And 4 units or 5 units was rented, and the other one of them is vacant.
Yep, and it even had a shed in the back that he wasn't renting. He was just using it for storage, so that was additional income.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, wow. Okay, so now let's get into the buyer. How do you find the buyer?
So I had a buyer I've been working with. They've been telling me nonstop. I found them on Craigslist that they want multi-units, and I do a pretty good job of pre-qualifying my buyers, making sure they're serious. And these people said all the right things, did all the right things, and I scheduled the showing for that Friday for my first showing, as well as bringing them along. And a lot of people don't like that because the seller was going to be there. So I had my buyer, me, and the seller there all at the same time. And as a wholesaler, that can be intimidating. But I just told him straight up, I said, because I'm raising the price 15 grand to 140, I'm going to have to get creative with this one, and I might bring in a partner. So immediately he was okay with that. I was transparent from the beginning, and that was very easy. They loved the property. I showed it to them. It was just what I thought it was. It was immaculate, beautiful property. It's 100 years old, and you couldn't even tell. And immediately afterwards, I texted them. I said, "Hey, this thing's gonna fly off the shelf. Do you guys want it?" And they said, "Yes, we'll take it. We'll take it at the 210 price that you were advertising." And so it was below what I could have offered it for. I definitely think I could have offered more, but I was happy at 70,000. It's a 70,000 wholesale piece, so I was happy with that. And I sent over the contract, and they were taking a lot of time. And then I got to them. I said I needed this back within 12 24 hours, or I'm going to have to move on. And so they took that, and then they said, I want an inspection period. I said, well, we just looked at the property. It was immaculate. You could tell. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out. I didn't say it like that, but I was thinking this in my head, and I was being very, respectful and professional with them. But I said, I'm not going to tie this up for 14 days that you want. And I only have 40 days on the contract. So I said, if you want to do that, I'm going to need, instead of $5,000 down, I'm going to need $10,000 down, and I'm only going to give you a 7-day inspection period. And they said, well, we'll take the 7 days, but we can only do 5,000. So I said, all right. So I sent the new contract over to them. They still didn't sign it within the next day. And I contacted them, and then they finally called me back and said, hey, just a little nervous about this one. It's a great property. It's everything I wanted, but I'm afraid there's some foundational issues, and I can't get a contractor there in 7 days. We'll call you back if we're interested. And so right there, I knew I had it sold. I was, kind of just beaten up. I was like, man, I was devastated. I had a buyer. I thought it was for sure, and they fell through. But from there, I was going over a family's house. 30 minutes later, I kid you not, you call it divine intervention, whatever. But I had a realtor call me, and he said, hey, I have buyers looking for multi-units. Do you have anything? And I said, yes, I have something right now. It's going to be gone in 24 hours. Just tell all your buyers. And he said, all right, I got 3 buyers that are looking, set it up for Thursday. And that gave me an idea, because when that realtor called me, I thought of one realtor who deals strictly with commercial real estate. And he's kind of the top dog around here. So I contacted him right after that phone call. And sure enough, he had cash buyers that were ready to close, tomorrow. And I had to get really creative with that. Do you want me to go into detail with
Yes,
that right
indeed.
now? Or?
Yes.
Okay. So he called me the next day, said, my buyer's interested. He's coming from Florida, and he wants to see the property tomorrow. Can you set it up? So I was kind of nervous because the seller had already told me I'm only showing it once. So I called him up. I said, well, I got a new partner. If I only stick with one partner, usually I get screwed, because then they know I only stick with them. So I get better terms if I bring in multiple partners, so I can get better options. And he, being an investor, could relate to that, and he understood. So he showed me the property again. And again, I sold the crap out of this property. It kind of sold itself, and he was happy and said, I wanted it. So the realtor said, absolutely, we'll lock it up. There's only one problem. He just spent all of his cash buying another building on the same street. I found out this investor had already owned a building right beside this one and a couple down the street. So he was serious. I knew he was serious. And he had the pool to pull in a bank loan, and that's what he wanted to use. Well, as wholesalers, that kind of throws a wrench in our, plans, because bank loans take 30 to 35 days minimum. And also they're going to want an appraisal. That means more inspections. And I was just very, intimidated from that. And so I said, well, maybe we could do something called a division of proceeds, which allows me to list the property on the seller's behalf, but the seller then sees how much we're making, as well as the buyer. So even though we're double closing, they both saw how much I was making. And so I took a huge risk in even offering that. And but at the end of the day, I did get him to sign it. I had to pay $5K more for a 15-day extension just in case this buyer fell through. So I had backup plans on backup plans just to make sure I got this thing to closing. And I stayed consistent with them every week. I made sure every Monday I contacted the seller, make sure he didn't have any questions, and almost every day I contacted the realtor, make sure stuff was moving smoothly. The bank loan fell through because it was going to take too long and they needed too much stuff, and he ended up finding him a hard money lender. And so I didn't even need to pay the $5K extra, but I did, and we closed the deal on hard money. So
wow, bro.
a lot of wrenches in this one.
Yeah, man. Dang. Okay, so you tied up with so originally you tied up with the seller for how long?
For 40 days.
Okay, 40 days. You end up having to ask an extension for it?
Correct, because the realtor's contract, or listing rather, was until April 15th, and I wanted an extra 15 days in case this guy didn't perform.
Gotcha. Okay. So for the 15 days extra, you offered the seller, or did the seller say he wants $5K?
I offered the seller. I felt it was easier for me to do that with the spread I had, just because he didn't want to assign anything else. He was dead set on what we already had. And so he wanted another $500 down too. And I said, I have no problem doing that. And he never said anything further. So I actually didn't put down $500 more.
Gotcha. Okay. And everybody probably is curious, what do you mean by division of proceeds?
So at least in the state of Maryland, division of proceeds basically says, hey, I'm the consultant in this deal. I'm coming to you offering to sell the property, basically using my network. You're going to be promised a certain amount, so 145, and anything over that is in my pocket. So whenever I found the buyer, I had to put the purchase price that the buyer is putting on there on the same contract. So the seller was going to know that I sold the property for, the realtor actually sold it for $230,000. And he put his commission on top of the purchase price. So it didn't come out of my pay. And he actually offered that. That's something that we as wholesalers should offer because we don't want to take out of our assignment fee. And I learned that from you as well. But he actually did it for me, and that's how good this realtor was. He just knew working with wholesalers. So.
Wow, bro. Wow. Okay. So basically when you meant list the property, so when the seller signed that, so now does that mean you get to list his property on the MLS?
It is. It's called a pocket listing, I believe. And what that means.
Got it.
Yeah. So they do list it, but it doesn't get published. He has somebody, that way he gets his commission legally because he's got to follow the board of realtors. He can't just get a wholesale fee. I
see. Got it. Okay. So now my question for you is, Alex, why did you have to do the division of proceeds if the realtor already have the cash buy in place?
Because the realtor, I don't think this is how he's done it before, and he wasn't comfortable with me paying him just because the board of realtors. And I figured if he was bringing me, $230,000 buyer, I could go through the extra steps of, meeting him halfway, getting this paperwork signed, so it's all legit. I
see. Okay. So when you send the paperwork over to the seller, so the seller will sign it because now you're offering him $5,000 more. So he's signing for a 145, and he also see that you have a buyer at 230,
Yes.
and he has no problem.
He at the very beginning he said, I understand you guys are selling this for a profit. I'm sure he didn't realize how much more, but I at first sent the contract with that line blank, and he refused to sign it without that being filled in. So I was like, shoot, I got to put this 230 in there, and I took a risk, and I think maybe there was a better way I could do it, but I took a leap of faith, and he didn't have a problem with it. He signed it right away. I
Wow.
think he was happy with the $5,000 extra, and that was enough.
Wow, wow, wow. Oh, man. Dang, I would be nervous too, bro.
Yes.
70G on the line, bro.
To
Dude,
him, it was a lot more. It was like 90G or something because he
yeah,
didn't see the
bro. I
realtors.
would, man, that's going to be tough to go to sleep.
I spent a lot of
Okay.
time thinking.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Okay. So now, so for those of you who, um, for those of you, and I'm going to share this with Alex as well, but maybe Alex, probably already know this already. For those of you, when you obviously Alex qualifies buyer, right? Okay, so everybody wants to know, Alex, why don't you share really quick? I know we're running on a timeline here. Why don't you share really quick? How do you qualify your cash buyer?
So right off the bat, I condition them to know that, hey, I'm closing in 7 to 14 days. I'll go max of 21 days. And if that's, something they can't do, then automatically I don't deal with them. I also ask, it all be all cash. I don't do this all the time, but I should, is ask for the proof of funds. And I ask them, I prefer not to show the property more than once. So if you want to bring all your inspectors and everything, please bring them then. So.
Awesome. Yep. And that's what I was going to point out, Alex, is that for those of you, if they are true serious buyers, all right, you tell them this. Hey, you know what? This is a one-time walkthrough / inspection. So on the day, whenever you want, let us know. Bring your contractor, bring your lender, bring your inspector, bring whoever your partner, whoever you need to bring with you on that day. Look at whatever you need to look at. All right. But afterward, I want to let you know this is a one-time walkthrough / inspections. That's how we operate. And then afterward, you just need to let us know if it's something that's going to work for you or not. Does that work for you? And we, most of the time, if they are serious, they don't have any problem because I mean, why would they have problem, right? Because you told them on the day, you look at whatever you need to look at, right? And then you bring whoever you need to bring. Let me know the day and I'll set it up to you. And then also to another thing that I want to point out, to you guys as well. But like I said, maybe Alex already know this. You know how you told the seller, you gave the seller the time frame of the 24 hours.
Yes.
So because you didn't want to call back feeling like you're desperate, right?
Right.
Got it, man. So this is where I'm telling you guys, this is where you put your partners in the middle. So that way you don't like, it's not like your part, like that's why you put your partner, or maybe you put yourself as just part of the company. And so it doesn't make it seem like you're the desperate one. You're just doing your job. So you call back and I'll be like, hey, Alex, my team manager just want me to touch base with you, see kind of where you're at in price. So, my team manager wants, so now you don't sound like you're the one who wants to call back and feel like you're desperate, but you're putting that onto somebody else as if like you're just doing your job and you don't care if this deal gets done or not. And that just really, so that makes, so the seller doesn't seem like you're desperate, but you're just doing your job. So I hope that helps you guys out. And then Alex, obviously, now my other question for you is, obviously the seller got multiple bid on it. Yours at 125. He got in between 115 to 135. So when you call him back on that call, how did you, obviously, I know what you said to get the deal done, but did he tell you why he hasn't accepted the other offer yet?
He actually, when he showed me the property the first time, I was going to ask him, why did you choose us over the competition? Because I saw you had a higher offer. And he actually went ahead and told me before I could ask that question. He said, and if you're wondering why I went with you, it's because you called me first and then you called me back again. the next day. And he said that's what did it for me. He said also, I kind of like you after meeting you. I built a lot of rapport with the sellers. So.
Gotcha, man. Awesome. Well, Alex, man, I want to say congrats, dude. So the total days that got done, how long did it took, dude?
It took 39 days.
39 days. So you didn't even need that extra.
Nope, I didn't.
Hey, but you got it done, dude. 65. It's pretty darn good, dude.
Yeah, I was happy. So
those of you who have question on this deal, comment below. And like I said again, if you find value throughout the video, any little tiny bit, any kind of value, show us some love, smash the thumbs up for the guests. And if you don't, smash the thumbs down, all right? Also too, so Alex, let's wrap it up, man. I want you to go ahead and kind of share with everybody, man. Inspiration, motivations, any last word or tips that you can give to whoever it is that is starting out and they're struggling and trying to get their first deal, bro.
Absolutely. So it sounds good and all to make 55K, but honestly, I've made multiple offers on properties that I could have earned over 60K in wholesale fees in the past year. So I've made over $60,000 in mistakes, and that was a $60,000 education, right? And that helped me land this deal. So don't be scared to fail. Actually, I encourage it. Go out there instead of the mindset of, hey, I might mess this up and I might lose 30, 60K. Why don't I go out there and learn how to do it by failing forward? So if you mess up, you just got a first-class education. You're never truly losing, and that's the true secret when you fail.
I agree with you, man. Well said, Alex. And obviously, finally, how do they connect with you? And hey, hey, hold on. I have people drop phone number and their phone blew up. So be careful. So yeah, bro.
So I've already gotten a plethora of messages from the post, and I'll try to respond to everybody I can. But you can follow me on Instagram. It's _harshman, and it's just my last name. So _harshman. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, and I'll try to get back to you.
Awesome. And then I'll make sure I'll put it in the descriptions, you guys. Alex, once again, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. So thank you. Thanks a lot, bro.
All right. Thank you, Khang.
Yeah, and those of you who you watch all the way to now and you haven't subscribed to the family, come on, man. What you waiting for? Smash the subscribe button. Join the family, right? Join the family. We're going to take our life, our business to a whole nother level. And hopefully that this wholesaling houses game can help you turn your annual income into monthly like it did for me. Thank you so much, you guys. And hopefully, I really try to grow the channel. So be sure to share this with somebody. And also, too, is help support the family grow. And I think we're trying to get to 50K sub by the hopefully soon. So, Alex, thank you so much, bro. Have a great rest of your day, bro.
You too.